Fear not, citizens. Hope has arrived because we are here with more My Hero Academia. This time we're covering the manga, chapter 335, simply titled Division. I am your host today, Michael Thomas. Joining me is the evil, mad punster doc himself, Isak Wolff. Isaac, how's it going, bud? And what's up with the screen name? You're on the villain side today?
Well, I just put it there because we finally recorded an in your restriction commentary track last night, and Brandon is not happy with me as of right now. But it was just a blast for my party at least. If you listen to the commentary track, you will probably hear, well, what, why, or other foul mouth. The funny thing is, Brandon is more foul mouthed than me in that episode. So
Jeez, man.
that's something.
That is indeed something. So yeah, we're here with My Hero Academia 345. Spoilers if you guys aren't caught up on chapter 345 of My Hero Academia's manga. If you're an anime only, we got you, fam. Come back in fall, winter, when the anime's back. Season 6, I think, is going to be. Season 6 is going to be a blast. It is going to be arguably the best season of My Hero Academia, period. So be excited for that. But if you're a manga reader, we got you covered too. We're breaking this down week by week, chapter by chapter, until we get to the end of this series. So, Isaac, last week we had the insane revelation of how we're going to attack the Liberation Army, the League of Villains, All for One, Shigaraki, whatever we're calling this group of people. Last week's chapter was called Stars, and we got to see what's going on with Monoma and Kurogiri and the plan that All Might and Aizawa kind of concocted. This week, it's the setup's just paying off, right? We got the villains grouped off in their little teleportation pod things that we created, and we're trying to split them up. And we kind of figured out a couple chapters ago. There's different waves, different phases, different heroes grouped up with specific villains. And I think that is really, really cool. We do see Toga kind of like taking charge here right at the beginning of the chapter, leading her Nomu and her group of villains. And of course, we have Dabi saying that it's only going to hold them for 3 seconds, but Shoto explains that 3 seconds is all they need as he and Burnin charge in to take out Dabi. And then we realize we're trying to push them into Kurogiri portals that Monoma's control. Like Monoma, I didn't expect him to be this big of a player. Did you expect this much out of Class B's most annoying student?
I mean, compared to Mineta, he has at least a useful Kurt. So yeah, I can see him being useful in times like this.
It's just pure genius to me because, yeah, like his quirk is only good when paired up with somebody with a strong quirk because he's copying it. But to have him copy Kurogiri's quirk, master it, and now he's splitting them up, it's just really, really dope. And then we have this guy who looks like Crust, who's not Crust because Crust died. That's just really confusing to me. I'm not sure what that means. We also have Deku and Bakugou trying to take out Shigaraki and go into that portal. We also see Nejire in that shot as well, an edge shot. So I guess that's the Shigaraki team. But Deku gets roped up and yanked into a different portal. And it's very reminiscent. It might be an homage to when Bakugou was kidnapped by the League of Villains and Deku couldn't save him. This time it's reversed. But notably, Danger Sense didn't go off. And I know that this is revealed a little bit later in the chapter, but I think we should just address it now. Why don't you think Deku's Danger Sense went off when Toga yanked him through that portal?
Maybe because she. Could it be that she is deciding to join forces after all?
It could be because Danger Sense is just what it is, right? It's a sense of danger. If she had any intent to harm Deku, I don't think she would have been able to pull him through. So either one, she has no intention of ever fighting him in this situation, or two, Toga might be the really weird case of, we learned this from My Villain Academia. When she loves something or someone, she wants to suck their blood. So, in a weird way, she doesn't have any ill will towards Deku or any intention to harm Deku. It's her twisted way of loving Deku. And so it could be a technicality. We kind of BS our way through that. Um, that's that. I think the easier bet is just that she doesn't want to fight him. She wants to talk to him, like she wanted to talk to Uraraka when they had their confrontation during the first war. You know, I think that's more likely, but it can go either way. But yeah, so we see that the pros corner All for One, which is really interesting. That Hawks, Endeavor, Tokoyami, Kamui Woods, the Pussycats. We have all of the pros, and Tokoyami for some reason. I don't know why he's here. But all the pros are kind of going after All for One. And that means they were leaving Deku and Bakugo to handle Shigaraki, which is just kind of baller, in my opinion. Like, what? Are we sure we wanted to do that? Like, that was our best shot, is to make Deku and Bakugo alone. Like, we're not gonna send Ida or Shoto with them. That was kind of strange.
And this makes me wonder, legitimately wonder, is Bakugou gonna die? Like we said before.
Yeah, that's something you and Leo have been on for a minute.
I mean, he is alone with him now.
He's with Best Genist. He's got that going for him. But yeah, it ain't looking good for Kacchan right now. He's gonna have to just stay alive until Deku can warp back to him.
No offense to Kacchan or Best Genist, but I think Deku is probably the only one that has somewhat of a shot against him.
You know, it would be epic if Bakugo actually just beat Shigaraki. That would just be so funny.
It wouldn't make sense, but...
Has Bakugo ever lost a fight?
No,
he hasn't. I'm just answering that. He's never lost a fight. Why would we think he would lose now? That's all I'm saying.
I mean, he kind of sort of lost when he sacrificed himself the first time.
So I wouldn't count that as a loss, because if he wasn't trying to save Deku, he wouldn't have got stabbed. That's all, you know, like that was the call there.
But what would but how would you explain how Bakugou of all people would be able to control, sort of like being able to, if he can handle Shigaraki, why wouldn't Star and Stripes do that? If you get what I mean.
Star and Stripe doesn't have plot armor, bro.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, they're like Naruto reference of the day. Naruto, throughout the entire first half of the series, is the worst ninja there. And he just finds a way to keep winning for some reason. And Bakugo's got that same kind of energy about him. I don't know. I'm not trying to figure out how he wins. I'm just putting out the facts that he's never lost a fight before. Why would he lose now? But the big one is, of course, Dabi versus Shoto Todoroki, or Toya versus his younger brother, Shoto. And this is like, we've been theorizing that it was going to be a 2v1 of Endeavor and Shoto versus Toya, but it looks like it's just a 1v1 of the brothers. And that's something, dude. That I'm really excited to see what happens. I feel like that should have been the next chapter, but I feel like it's going to be like a Toga, Uraraka, Deku type of fight going on. Sad Girls Parade. That would be a really interesting title. Just saying. Because she's got twice his blood. But yeah, like we've kind of speculated about this before, but is there anything you want to see from Shoto versus Dabi? Because we're finally laying the groundwork for that fight. We've been talking about it for a few weeks. We've really been talking about it for a few years, and we're finally there. It's going to be awesome.
It's the only thing I expect is that it's going to be insane. But that makes sense.
Insane in what way?
Good, in a good way. It will be in a poor Bones animator in how to handle this fight kind of insane. If you get my drift.
Yeah, I feel so bad for everybody at Studio Bones because no offense, but like compared to what's going on with Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen, they had it kind of easy. My Hero Academia is half a slice of life, half a shonen battle anime, but these next two seasons are just going to be balls to the wall, cracked, and we're gonna see if they can keep up. That's really what we're gonna see if they can keep up. It's gonna be wild. It's just I want to care about Shoto versus Dabi, and I do care about Shoto, and Dabi's story is interesting, but they don't have enough history for me to really care. It's not like Zuko versus Azula, right? Like I'm not. Dabi's probably gonna end up dying in some form or fashion. Shoto's gonna be upset that he couldn't save his brother. I'm just saying, as far as like an emotional standpoint, I don't think it's gonna hit for me at all, which is interesting because we've been talking before about how like the Todoroki story is like the backbone of this entire franchise, along with Deku and All Might. But I don't know, man. If Endeavor's not going to be involved in that fight, that kind of sucks a lot of the life out of it for me. What are your thoughts on
it? I mean, it's just a big. There has to be a reason. Can you repeat that question?
So Dabi and Shoto are facing off against each other without Endeavor being present, and I feel like the story, like the rivalry between the two, it's about Endeavor, and so if he's not going to be in this battle, it just kind of loses any value to me because I think I said it on the show before, but I feel like Shoto is just leagues above Dabi anyway as far as power level. So Ice Fire versus Dabi's Fire. I feel like that this is going to end fairly quickly unless Shoto has some sort of inner turmoil that he's going to have to deal with to overcome Dabi.
I mean, it could just be that Dabi, for whatever reason, managed to corner Shoto, and Endeavor sees that, jump in front of it, dies like that. And then it gives Shoto the motivation to use that extra kick, if you will, to finally beat his
That's
brother.
my thing, that they're not near each other. We warped Shoto to Kamino, and I don't know where Endeavor is. They're in like some sort of forest area. So unless we get Monoma to open up another portal, that's not going to be a possibility. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we would have put them in the same location, but they're not. Also, just a side note, I don't know if you saw, but Burnin and Ida are with Shoto and Dabi, so that's neat. Ida looks like, in this panel, he looks like he's about to fight a Nomu, and I feel like we're not going to see that, which is a shame.
It just begs the question even more. But they are going... they're taking so many heroes on the weaker stuff, but leaving Shigi for both. Only Bakugou, Best Genius, and as it was planned, Deku.
Yeah. So, as we're making our way through this, we see that the UA barrier and everything is in full effect, and UA starts to levitate away. Is this a reference to Avengers Age of Ultron when they pick up Sokovia?
Probably.
Like this just straight up looks like it's from Avengers Age of Ultron. And I know Horikoshi loves his Marvel references, but my goodness, that's just crazy. And yeah, as we make our way through, we see that God, Lord Explosion Murder, and Best Genus have to fight Shigaraki without Deku. Not a great plan. Those two might be screwed. And then we see Uraraka, Asui, and Gang Orca facing off against Toga and a few Nomu. And again, no disrespect to our girls Asui and Ochiko, but you really thought they were enough to help Gang Orca fight all those Nomu?
No.
It's almost like, yeah,
I
we
mean,
needed to warp Deku there because they would have died.
I mean, only if she, for whatever reason, got a Kirk evolution and managed to flow them away, so to speak. I really don't see how they would be able to handle how many Numas are there. 1, 2, 3. Is it
It's
5?
like
How many?
5 Nomu, 2 villains, and Himiko Toga.
How the fuck were they thinking that they were supposed to win that with only those 3?
I mean, Gang Orca is a top 10 hero, but that's a lot to ask considering these two girls aren't really fighters.
So maybe that. So maybe that's why Toga took him in for the. She know that her best girlfriend needed help or something.
Considering that Toga is like mad in love with both Deku Uraraka and Asui, she hit the jackpot when it came to these portals, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
One person on Twitter said horny girls parade. Jeez. Yeah, it's just this chapter was cool. I like seeing Hawks. Like you notice Hawks' wings are finally starting to inch back up a little bit, so he's able to fly, and he tried to attack All for One, and it just doesn't work at all. And he and Endeavor kind of figured that, but you know.
Also, can we talk about how UA apparently can fly?
Yeah, they fly now. It's awesome.
How much money does that principal have?
You know, Principal Nezu, I feel like a lot of the money, like think about all the major heroes graduated from UA. So I feel like they're donating, like All Might's probably donating money to UA, as is Endeavor, you know, their alma mater. So I feel like they're getting funded by the top heroes, they're getting funded by the government, and Nezu's probably just super rich. But this isn't this what Hatsume was talking about? That's why she couldn't fix Deku's costume. So we knew that it could do this. We knew that it can move. We were thinking more Voltron robot style, not levitating city style. But, you know, we did kind of, they did reference that earlier.
Yeah.
How do you think the pros are going to do against All for One?
Oh, they're getting slaughtered, most likely.
Yeah, because we know Best Genus and Bakugou probably can't take Shigaraki. They probably could stall a couple minutes, but they're not going to win that fight. But those pros versus All for One is an interesting matchup.
I will say this though, I wouldn't be surprised. I hate saying this because I like the character, but I wouldn't be surprised if all of the pro heroes will, in lack of better terms, get slaughtered by All for One. Honestly,
if they harm any feathers on Hawks, I will riot, dude.
I mean, let's face it. All Might in his semi-prime, or whatever you want to call it, had an extreme hard time keeping up with him. The only one that probably has some form of chance is Endeavor, and that I wouldn't even say that he has. But that doesn't say much, if you get what I mean.
There's strength in numbers and all that. I wouldn't put it past the heroes, but yeah, essentially, yeah, it's gonna be a tough time. Where do you think the next chapter goes? Do you think we follow up with Best Jeanist and Bakugou, or are we going to focus on Shoto and Dabi, or are we just going to continue this Toga, Deku, Uraraka confrontation?
I can, if I had to prioritize I would say the Toga situation next. Then after that, it would be Shoto, and then after that, it's against All for One.
Yeah, that's what's really. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
go on.
What's your thought?
No, I was finished. Go on.
Oh yeah, I was just saying that's what's really frustrating about this manga series being weekly. Like I feel like My Hero Academia would thrive being monthly or bi-weekly, because this chapter and last chapter I feel like could have just been one chapter in total.
Yeah.
Instead, we're gonna take a week-long break to finally get to the fight that we set up last chapter, but then we had to talk about it in this chapter, and so it's fine. I enjoyed it. I think it's going to be really cool when we get like firmly into it. This was just a secondary setup. That's all I was saying, is that I kind of wish this was a bi-weekly series at least, to give Horikoshi a few more pages and a little more time to flesh these things out. But I'm excited to see whatever we do next week. I think we have a lot of good matchups here, because like I'm really invested in the pros versus All for One, because it's such a weird group of having the Pussycats, Hawks, Endeavor, Tokoyami, and Kamoi Woods. And I assume this is the forest where they trained in like season 3.
It looks like it.
Yeah, a lot of these locations, like we're fighting in Camino, we're fighting at right around UA. So it's like a lot of these locations, it kind of feels like Avengers Endgame, where we started going to our greatest hits and we're going to go to this location and that location and go back to this movie. And it kind of feels like Horikoshi's trying to play the nostalgia card a little bit, especially when you have this panel of Dabi and Shoto facing off in front of that All Might statue in Camino. That's going to be epic. That's going to be beautifully animated too. That's just going to be, it's going to be awesome.
Indeed. And like I said before, I feel sorry for Studio Bones.
I don't, because I know that they're going to put everything they have into it and make something incredible. And it's the final arc. They ain't got to do this anymore afterwards. At least with this series.
That depends on what they pick up next.
Oh yeah, that'll My Hero Shippuden.
Oh, watch it happen. and we get the son or daughter of Deku being the next hero, and aliens arriving, and interdimensional shenanigans happening.
You're saying that like that's a bad thing, but superhero stories do that all the time. I would not be mad if Deku has to fight an alien. It'd probably feel more natural than Naruto.
Yeah, fair.
Like you're just naming the DC universe at that point.
Fair point.
My man, is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap this one up?
Well, nothing more, Danielle. We shall see if our death predictions is correct.
Oh yeah, I still have all of that written down. On February 6th, you guys said there's an 80% chance that Bakugou will die and a 90% chance that All Might would die. Let's see how this goes, man. As we're inching closer and closer to the end of this thing. For clarity, I said 25% for Bakugou and like 60% for All Might.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Well, that wraps this episode of My Hero Academia up. That was again chapter 345, titled Division. We'll be back next week as long as Horikoshi and the team stay on schedule. More My Hero. Isaac, what's happening over at the Amateur Otaku this week, man?
Well, we have, like I said in previous recording, we have recorded our commentary track for the infamous Ninja Resurrection, and boy, was it hilarious doing so. I probably haven't laughed like that for ages. We are going to start covering Dororon as a... We don't know if it will be weekly or bi-weekly series, but we are going to start covering it. And, well, we have... When this is posted, we should have this week's Attack on Titan episode. We also have... we recently posted our My Hero Academia Vigilantes episode. And there was something else that I was thinking about that I can't recall right now. But there's a lot. And, well, that's pretty much says it's in terms of projects here. And I'm starting to search for more anime memes that I can put on the Twitter post. So, but yeah. And also, you can find my work over at Bobum Entertainment, and you can find me on Emblemaniac on Twitter.
Epic. Make sure you guys check out the Twitter Amateur Otaku Pod for all of Isaac's crazy memes and all the videos you can bear. And of course, follow the Scarlet Fan 52 on Twitter. That's our co-host Brandon Alvarado and Leo Rydell GG on Twitter as well, our other co-host. And oh yeah, there's a fourth guy here now, Ren Geekness. Ren Geekness on Twitter, YouTube, follow Geekly Goods, all that great stuff. For me, I'm Michael Thomas. You can just find me at Not a Cinephile on all social media platforms except for Instagram, which is the Not a Cinephile. Branding hard. This week for me, it's Batman week. We have a review of the Batman. It's most likely up already by the time you're listening to this. We have a spoiler cast for the Batman coming up this Friday, and also Batman TikToks, Batman written articles, Batman articles at Collider. It's Batmania. So I hope you're into Batman. Otherwise, we're going to really annoy you this week. But until next time.
Plus Ultra.
Plus Ultra. Peace.